What's up? Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the Sorry True Podcast. It's your boy ARP. We here. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. We're kicking off the morning. What time is it? It's a little after 6 a.m. It's about 6:05-ish. Yeah, so starting bright and early. As always, like I told y'all, we will be live on Saturdays and Sundays as well as randomly during the week. Um, but of course, Monday through Friday in the mornings, you will begin to get all your clips, all the topics that we cover each morning, Monday through Friday, as well as the full episodes getting uploaded. A couple of the full episodes will be members only during the week. So if you're a member, then you won't miss a single thing, but you don't have to be a member to still get a ton of content and pretty much all the news that we're covering 7 days a week. So make sure that y'all got y'all notifications on. Oh, yeah, I might have a exclusive for y'all dropping, if not today, maybe by tomorrow. So shout out to Ruin Your Day. I got my hands on all of the master files from the classic epic Max Out 3 battle rap event. What a lot of people I've seen vote on even recently on social media. I think one of the bloggers, maybe Vodafly, shout out to Vodafly, put a tweet up, says, what was the last battle rap event over like the last 5 years? And there's pretty much a consensus in that thread, Max Out 3, the last great battle rap event of that magnitude and at that level, quality-wise, event-wise, intangibles-wise, everything, lineup-wise, promotion-wise, everything, right? So I'm very, very proud of that. I said back then it was the best RBE event ever. It was a perfect Jordan walk off versus Utah Jazz shot for me personally, man. I really appreciate everybody that played a role in that event. That was my last pay-per-view event leading into my retirement. But now that I have all the masters, I edited up some exclusive clips, the entire event, the trailers that were involved in it, all of that. And I just edited it yesterday. It's going to be uploaded to the channel either today or tomorrow. It's about 9.5 hours, the full joint with the commentary, the judging at the end with the battlers of the night, the actual battles, face-off clips. It's all in there. So I do believe that as time continues to roll, it's going to go from a conversation. It has been already, to be honest, but it's going to go from a conversation like, hey, what was the last best, a great mega event in the last 5 years? I'm going to go from that to, yeah, this is top 3, top 5, maybe definitely easily top 10 best battle rap events ever. Right. And I'm very proud of that. So I'm going to upload the full thing for y'all. So keep an eye out on that. What else do we got? So news wise today, I want to go through a big update related to Diddy's trial and Shorty from Danity Kane, Dawn Richard, because she's taking the stand for the second time tomorrow. And I believe there could be some big things that affect the outcome of this trial based on her. I'm going to break down why. So we'll get there. We got to talk about the updates related to Chris Brown. He was detained. He was denied bond. So he's still incarcerated right now. And there's some other details that came in, big details that came into his situation. We'll get to that. What else do we have? Tory Lanez. It's worth us spinning the block real quick and getting back to his update. That was pretty much a bombshell that dropped when the family held a press conference, bringing new statements, i.e., evidence to the table that he didn't do the shooting. Right. So we're gonna keep an eye on that, see where that goes. Antonio Brown involved in an alleged shooting the other day as well, right after the Aiden Ross event. So we'll take a look at that. What else do we have? I have some big meat stuff. I got some top 5 stuff. I got some Fat Joe stuff. I got some other little small stuff. Also, I got some music and DVDs to close out the stream with. You know how we do. We put up the vote, ask y'all, do y'all remember this? Did you see this? Which is better? What's a classic? What's not? I keep the movies and the music running towards the end of the live streams with y'all just to have some fun. So that's what I like to do on Saturdays and Sundays. I like to hang out a little bit longer, be a little bit more interactive, rock with the chat, answer supers, answer questions, bring y'all up on the screen, all that type of stuff. Got a little bit more time, cuz on the Saturdays and Sundays, the weekend. So, all right, y'all ready to start walking? Let's get to work because we got a lot to cover. Let's get to work. Let's start off with Diddy's trial because, once again, Shorty from Danity Kane, Dawn Richard, will be taking the stand again tomorrow. She already had her first wave of testimony this past Friday. She got on right after Cassie, I believe, right? And they have their relationships. She was in the mix. She was around Diddy. She was part of the show where they did music together and all that. So, of course, she had something to say, but she already had in a civil lawsuit against Diddy. So we'll get into why I also think this could play a big part. Not as big as a part as Cassie's testimony. That's their star witness, but this is going to be important. And I wonder if the trial is going to line up the witnesses tactically in a way where they can bleed into the next, right? So Cassie wasn't the first witness up. Even before Cassie took the stand, they were already going over the hotel footage, right? Then when Cassie came up, it was kind of compounded. And then along with all her testimony and situations that they asked about, now you got all the abuse and the violence and the verbal abuse and all these situations, chopped open my above my eye. I had to get sent to a plastic surgeon for that. One time I was kicked in the back and all these situations from Cassie. And then you get into a witness like, let's say, Dawn Richard. And she talks about an alleged situation where she was there and Diddy tried to allegedly hit her with a skillet and dragged her upstairs. And she heard stuff breaking upstairs and whatnot. So tactically, it makes sense to line up the witnesses in order so you can compound the stories that are being presented. And this is something that the defense has to build up the defenses for and fight. It's part of the whole process. So now let's get into this and see how much this will snowball in the trial. All right. So Dawn Richards Diddy files to dismiss Dawn Richards' lawsuit on same day she testifies, which was Friday. Diddy wants Dawn Richards' civil suit against him thrown out, calling the allegations she made against him totally false on the same day she took the witness stand against him in his criminal trial. The rap mogul's legal team filed the documents Friday, pointing out a series of reasons why Dawn's lawsuit shouldn't go any further: statute of limitations, improper group pleads, and on and on. Now, the statute of limitations, that's huge because statute of limitations, as far as my knowledge, is always like a black and white thing. We can go through a civil lawsuit and you could say, hey, I purposefully did this to harm you. And I could defend and say, well, I even know that. What do you mean I purposefully, went over here to harm you? I had my own prior engagement. Look, I was booked to be there. You just happened to be there. What are you talking about? Stalking. I mean, that's gray area. And we could argue back and forth our case, during litigation. Statute of limitations is supposed to be black and white to me, right? If you have a copyright infringement suit against somebody, for example, there could be a 3-year statute of limitation in certain respects against that. How long do I have to go to court and say, hey, I've been infringed on one of my copyrights that I own, some works of footage or content that I produced or I created. I have 3 years before I could walk into court and say somebody did something to me. Okay. What did they say? There's no statute of limitations on things like murder. So you understand where I'm going with this. Statute of limitations should be black and white. If her allegations in this civil suit or her claims in this civil suit are outside of the statute of limitations, then there's no argument to be had there. So that would be very significant. But let's continue there. Improper group pleads, on and on. So they're taking things directly from her testimony from Friday, and they're going after her civil lawsuit. Now, I'm pretty sure she's paying huge attention to the fact that maybe her lawsuit is in jeopardy, because I think I saw a title somewhere that said she's going for, I believe, $3 million in damages from her civil lawsuit. Now, if her testimony is already being used by Diddy's team to say, hold on, she dropped the ball here, she contradicted herself there, she's lying there, and they're using that to get the civil lawsuit tossed, when she takes the stand tomorrow on Monday, best believe she's going to be aware that, oh shit, I need to testify in ways to make sure I don't damage my civil suit. Look at what happened with ASAP Rocky. Now, there's not an outcome to his civil lawsuit yet, but we all believe very, very heavily that his civil lawsuit is affected by the outcome of ASAP Rocky's criminal trial. Okay. Not to mention ASAP Rocky was also suing ASAP Rocky's lawyer. So ASAP Rocky's lawyer went in there like, I need to get you up out of here for my client, and I also need to affect your civil suit because hell, you could try to get some of my money too, right? So she better get up there. Her lawyer better contact her. If she don't got the same, if she got the same lawyer that's holding her down here, if she even has one. Some people just take the stand and they don't need guidance, right? Cassie did, because you already had this situation with Diddy civilly where you won $20 million. You want to make sure you don't get up there, disrupt that, go against any of those terms, shoot yourself in the foot, open yourself up to charges. When they ask you about you carrying guns for him in your purse, you say, I was high, I was drunk. Right? She had a lawyer side by side with her during this whole time when she's testifying. Dawn Richards here from Danity Kane. I'm just going to assume she doesn't need a lawyer for her to get up there and testify, but she better be in touch with her damn lawyer that's attached to a civil suit. Hey, I saw what happened in the testimony and the minutes that came out of court. Tell me what happened. Tell me the questions. Monday, when you get back up there, we got to make sure that you cover this base because we're going to fuck around and lose this bread. Right? So I just want to break that piece down, but let's continue. It's mostly lawyer speak, though Diddy's attorney does say early on in the docs that she's essentially trying to ride the wave of negative press around Diddy to a payout, writing Dawn seeks to transform narratives of alleged injuries against others into a headline-grabbing sex trafficking conspiracy as to her. So we do see that a lot. Right? You can anticipate that somebody makes headlines for whatever reason, a bunch of other people are going to come out as well. Shannon Sharp ends up getting in a civil lawsuit with this little young girl, Gabriella Zaninga. Here comes the ex from 10 years ago. We start meeting her. She does a public statement, even though her situation was before this little girl's. But even still, it's like, oh, now we meet you. We could have met you back then. So that's always the case. That's always the case. Does Dawn have real claims? Who knows? We wasn't there. We wasn't in those rooms. But, I've always been consistent on this channel. I've always had a problem with timing. That's one problem I've always had. And I have a second problem with things that allegedly should be criminal and people run straight to civil for a check. I've always had two things that make me cause to pause with that. Don't come to me and tell me, oh, yeah, by the way, everybody's talking about Diddy. Guess what? 24 years ago, he groped me. I'm going to be like, not saying that it doesn't have to be true, and nobody should be groped, but come on, son. 24 years now, you want to do this now? Oh, well, I was scared to come out then. So it took you 24 years. But anyway, another story, another topic. What's more interesting than the actual words in the document is the timing. What did I just say? Is the timing of the dismissal. Because it was filed on the very same day Dawn took the stand in Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial, causing stir when she arrived in the federal courthouse in a smart checkered blazer and a nose piercing, whatever. As we told you, Dawn told the court she saw Diddy violently attack Cassie, specifically referring to an alleged 2009 incident where she says she watched Diddy attempt to hit Cassie with a skillet. She also alleged that Diddy told her and a bandmate to keep quiet on what she says went down, alleging her locked the door during the conversation. She also says he brought them flowers to try and smooth things over with them. So here's the thing: when we see stuff like this from Cassie's testimony, you could almost see this type of behavior from Diddy. Whether it's true or false, that's one effect that I think came from Cassie's testimony. They did a lot of painting of the picture of him being a high, druggy, abusive, violent, tempered person. They did a lot of that. And I think cross-examination did a lot of focus towards making Cassie's overall situation consensual, but not too much focus on trying to invalidate the picture that was being created of him, which was one of the things that came out day one opening statements. Y'all saw the tape already, so we have to claim it. We have to say, yes, my client Diddy, he does get upset at times. He does have a temper. He has maybe gotten into physical altercations with Cassie, which we're going to say was consensual and a toxic relationship. Yeah, he has done those things, but it's just not these RICO charges like sex trafficking, etc. So now when anybody else takes the stand and says, yeah, he screamed on me or he slapped me Or if somebody says he threw an object in the room at me, they're gonna be like, yeah, well, we saw the video and the pictures from the hotel footage of you throwing the vase at Cassie, so I could see you throwing some other shit at this person. That's the thing about the sequencing and the lining up of these witnesses. Picture gets painted, then it becomes more believable to the jury. All right. Doesn't mean that it's true, but this is court and this is how it goes. So when she says this, it gets legs. All right. Dawn's also supposed to take the stand again Monday, that's tomorrow, as the trial heads into week 2. Though Diddy's ex, Cassie, has officially finished her testimony in this case and is now focusing on giving both birth to her child with Alex Fine. Okay, we know that. Richard filed the lawsuit against Diddy back in September, claiming he groped, terrorized, and belittled her while working on the show, making the band. So groped is going to be a claim for a civil suit, right? And in some situations, criminal as well, right? Uh Terrorized. We're gonna have to hear details about that when she takes the stand tomorrow. Terrorized. What do you mean by terrorized? You know, he walked in the room and dark clouds just came in. I was scared to death. It was a horrible work environment. He screamed on me. He flinched me at times because I don't think she said that he hit her. It's just that he groped her, touched her in a bad way, and belittled her. I hate to see shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The only people I want to see having complaints about being belittled is like in the age 1 through 13. I hate seeing that belittle. He talked down on me. It'd be a grown ass man or a grown ass woman saying some shit like that. I need 3 million because he talked down on me. Shut the. All right. But the other stuff can be serious. So, she's taking a stand tomorrow and I'm not going to dismiss it. Okay. I'm trying to be sarcastic in certain respects. Keep up with me, please. Diddy's lawyers also called BS at the time, telling us in an attempt to rewrite history, Dawn Richard has now manufactured a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday. Adding that if things were so bad on making the band, then Dawn wouldn't have agreed to sign another contract with Diddy later on. Once again, consensual stuff. I did all this stuff to you, but then when it was time to re-up, you signed a contract to be with me and be around me and work with me again. No different than Cassie. So he argued on the living room floor? Yes. Did you guys have sex after that again? Yes. Was the sex after the alleged R on the living room floor consensual? Yes. You know? Once again, like make up your mind, people. Do you want to be there? Do you not want to be there? The consent thing is going to be huge and what feels could be like all of these situations or many of these situations. So the false claims is what they're going at. And I always say I think it's a good alley-oop opportunity when you get these people in front of you to try to knock down other things that you can be benefited from as well, right? So if she's up there and testifying against you criminally, your cross or your defense team should get up there and also see if there's ways to not only contradict her, paint her as a liar, diminish her testimony for your criminal situation, but try to knock that civil suit out as well. Okay. So try to catch her in lies and all that type of stuff. Let's get to now a little bit more detail of what went in when she initially filed. Let's take a look at this. I had to go back a little bit. What's the date on this? This is from, well, it's not that long ago, September 11th, 2024. I guess that this is when it was initially filed. Okay. Diddy sued by Danity Kane's Dawn Richard, sexual assault, inhumane treatment alleged. Okay. So let's get into a little bit more details about this case. And this is why I say this could be a snowball situation, good or bad, right? She can compound all the Cassie stuff in the jury's eyes, or she could be, deemed uncredible, deemed a liar, deemed chasing a bag, and then it'll take a little bit away from the way you gotta look at Diddy and see that there's a lot of false claims around him, money opportunities. So this could be big. This could be very, very big because if they're moving for that case dismissal that fast, once again, Friday, the same day that she took the stand, they feel like they got lies on her, I believe. If you get on that stand and you lie, it's painful. If you get caught lying, it's painful. That's one of the biggest drops in ASAP Rally's testimony against Rocky. Caught in so many fucking lies. And I will give Cassie that credit. Cassie seemed to have be honest, because if she wasn't on the stand being honest, don't worry, y'all, I'm gonna get back to this article. Give me 1 second. This is the point of podcasting and breaking stuff down. If Cassie wasn't up there being honest and she was just purely like, I'm gonna say whatever I can to bury this nigga. I mean, she already got her money, right? Let's be real. She already got her 20 from Diddy. So she's not like ASAP up there trying to say anything to still land that civil suit. She was honest. You don't want to end up getting caught in lies. You don't want to end up messing up your lawsuit. You don't want any perjury type of shit going on. You don't want your reputation damaged any more than you already got to go through. Did you love him still? Yes. Did you go back? Yes. Was there times that you did drugs without him, Cassie? Yes. Was this you texting the escort to kick off the freak off? Yes. What happened when you did drugs without him? He got mad at me. Did he ever ask dealers to not serve to you? Yes. These are the things that you would think is in Diddy's benefit, for example, right? Yet she's still saying them. So she didn't seem like she got up there and tried to just flat out lie on Diddy. I will give her that from the stuff that we've broken down and covered thus far. Shorty Dawn Richard, though, they're going at her off rip, like, oh no, liar alert, liar alert, liar. All right. Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with yet another lawsuit, this time by singer from Bad Boy back to music group Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, who says she witnessed him beating ex-girlfriend Cassie. Dawn Richard, who rose to fame through MTV and Diddy's 2004 reality competition, Making the Band 3, sued Combs Tuesday in U.S. District Court in New York, putting forth the allegations to corroborate some of those made by Cassie, whose bombshell November lawsuit opened the floodgates on legal woes for the embattled hip-hop mogul. Once again, if somebody did something to you, we got to stand on that side. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But until we figure out right from wrong in this particular scenario that matches many others, I still have a problem with timing. You're going through all of this in 2004. This is literally 20 years later. Cassie situation, or whatever news and all this stuff going on around Diddy, and then you walk into court 20 years later. All right. The damaged singer, 41, accused her former boss of SA, harassment, and inhumane treatment, alleging that Combs groped, caressed, and grabbed her without her consent, falsely imprisoned her, and forced her to remain at his various residences while depriving her and her bandmates of basic needs such as adequate food and sleep. I have a couple reactions there. So, inhumane treatment, I want to hear about when she's back on the stand. I want to hear what she considers inhumane treatment. I didn't eat frequently. Did you walk into the kitchen? Did you walk to the store? Did you? I'm just. I don't want to be too much of a dickhead here, but I just have an issue with this. Even without consent, okay. I'm not the victim blaming person, people. Don't ever take me as that, but spider senses a little bit. Who, fellas in the chat, imagine you got a woman that you're familiar with or you're around. You don't know what type of energy or vibes have been exchanged. Maybe some smiling, maybe some laughing, maybe some flirting, right? You know how many men can catch a claim or catch a charge that he touched me without consent? How many times do you ask permission to touch a woman that, especially if you end up in a sexual relationship with her, but when you touched her for the first time, or even if it was the second and third time? And the same goes for the ladies too. You know what I'm saying? Do you stop and say, I'm really, really digging the vibes right now. This was a beautiful date. Can I get permission to squeeze your ass real quick? It don't happen. So what classifies and quantifies as consent? If there's no verbal request and acceptance, a billion situations can quantify as I didn't give consent. That is going to forever be a gray area for me until you give me the details of what non-consent is. You want to know what non-consent would be to make it black and white? Here's an example. Hey, nice to meet you, Diddy. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for giving me the chance to sing, express my talents, get on your TV show. Um, just a little bit about me. I'm married or I have a boyfriend. I'm in a very, very successful and happy relationship. And I'm not here to get into it with any other men or any other women, right? I already have a situation, significant situation. So hopefully the show has nothing to do with anything, nobody else around, because I'm not here for any of that. Right? And then Diddy's supposed to say, "Oh no, no, no! Listen, when the cameras cut on, it's gonna be this, we're gonna be that. We here to make a nice piece of content. The show's gonna be crazy, or you're gonna get in the booth. We're gonna make some great music. That's all." Oh, and I appreciate that, yeah, because my husband was a little worried that I was gonna have to live in this crib with y'all to do this show for 4 months. So being that you're the boss, I just kind of want to make it clear that if anybody behind the scenes, any of these guys or whatever, I just wanted to tell you because you're the boss. You know what I'm saying? Now I appreciate you being forthcoming. Shake your hand. Let's knock this out the park. I just gave it to you. I just gave it to you. That's a way you can remove any advancement, and that's a form of not giving consent, right? That's a way of doing it, especially if you know you're going to be in the work environment. Other than that, it's great until you give me details. The first time the nigga touched you, you didn't give consent. Niggas don't request it, and neither do fucking women. All right. All right. What else was I that I have cause to pause there for a second? Um, Damn a singer to remain at various residences while depriving her and her bandmates of basic needs. So imprisoned. These are like big words to use, right? Now, when I read these civil lawsuits and sometimes even criminal lawsuits, I expect the lawyers to write stuff like this. Imprisoned. It's the same psychological effect of not telling us 864 baby oil bottles. Instead, you say 1,000. It hits different. You want an even deeper reality in this world, people? It's the reason why the penny exists. Why? Because when I watch the damn commercial of somebody trying to sell me something, hearing 99.99 just sounds cheaper to people in their minds than $100 fucking. That's why the penny exists still. That's why. To be able to do those type of denominations, don't sell it for $50. Sell it for $49.99. What do you think the point of these drive-through? The food industry uses it a lot. It's a psychological thing. Okay, it's no different than when you write this type of shit that we gotta read, jurors gotta read, judges have to review. Certain wording is tactically used by these lawyers, and you guys gotta stay with me on that. We can't just be in floating in thin space. Oh, imprisoned. No, it's written these ways purposefully. Okay. And you're supposed to write like I want my lawyers to write like this too. To be real. Now, let's use that. And this is why I said I gotta react to stuff like this, people. I can't just do a read for you and then walk on. I have to give y'all the reactions. How are you imprisoned when you got 2 feet, 2 legs, eyes, ears, hands, twist the doorknob, open the lock? Remember this skit from Dave Chappelle when he was like, he broke down the difference between a little black girl and I think it was like a white girl that was kidnapped. It was a great skit by Dave, the GOAT, by the way. And he detailed a little black girl that was kidnapped, and the kidnappers left the crib and she chewed away like out of ropes or some shit and just got out of there and got home and had these guys arrested and on the news same day, damn near. Little girl. And then he broke down another situation. It was like from a little white girl. And he was like, they took her like a block over or some shit like that. And she never tried to bust a move. Like at all. There was nothing. Now I know little kids could be scared, and I'm leaving out a lot of context. But the way Dave broke that down, it shows you that even certain children understand when they're in a bad spot and how to try to make their way out, or at least make your way to the exit. Little kids know what the front and the back door is if they live in a home, right? To be locked out is one thing. To be locked in is a whole nother story. When we see the little idiots that are locked inside of their car, we look at them like, you're inside the fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Imprisoned. Now we're talking about grown women because she's 41 now. This was 20 years ago. So she was approximately, let's say, 21. She's an adult. She's an adult. You're on the show. How were you imprisoned? I like to use the word imprisoned when you're in jail or some type of locked in scenario where they make it hard for you to leave physically, not mentally. Hard for you to leave physically. How do you make it hard for somebody to leave physically? Handcuffs, door locks, tied up in a fucking basement, imprisoned. What the fuck? Don't get up here and say I need 3 million because he said, yo, don't leave for the next 5 days. But if you still want to leave, you would just say, I'm gonna tell you one thing about what I see from Diddy. Piece of shit, yes. Controlling, yes. Did a lot of bad things to people, in my opinion. I'm gonna say yes. All alleged. All alleged. All alleged. But one thing he is not is a person that has, nobody has testified to me that he put a gun to somebody's head when it was time for a freak off, right? When it was time to get pissed on, or when it was time to, you know what, this ain't working out, I want to leave the crib. And he pulled out the strap and said, you finna die unless you get your ass back in that fucking studio and record this song. People can fucking leave, but people don't want to leave. Did you see the clip I put up the other day about the movie Enough? No means no sometimes. Or, hey, dude walked into the kitchen with Jennifer Lopez. It's funny that's Jennifer Lopez and she was with Diddy during a fucking shooting. He said, look, man, this comes with the equation. The lavish lifestyle and all this. Yeah, I might go fuck around on you or walk out 3 o'clock in the morning and you ain't gonna do shit. You're gonna sit right here and you have the ability to say, okay, cool. When you get back home, I won't be here. I don't care if I got a book bag to my name. I'm getting the fuck on. And shout out to all the women in these scenarios that do just that. Pack a bag and call their homegirl and say, girl, make some space on the couch for me. This nigga tripping. I'm out. Or girl, or mommy, or whoever, friend, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. And throughout all of this, y'all telling me that Cassie had her own crib. Look at the Shannon Sharp situation with Gabriella Zaninga, right? Shannon Sharp's lawyer came and said, where she lived, you got to go through like 5 different access zones. You got to be buzzed into the gate of the community. You got to be buzzed into the front door. Then you got to be buzzed into the elevator. Like the way he broke it down. And he came with gifts, birthday and Christmas gifts. And she's sitting there, buzz you in, buzz you in, buzz you in, buzz you in. Okay, what's up? You, by the way, no means no in the text message I sent you because 2 months ago you R'd me. But buzz you in, buzz you in, buzz you in, buzz you in. That's the shit that fucks with me, y'all. Nah, I imprisoned how? Diddy didn't put no handcuffs on none of y'all. They got Cassie up there admitting, did you still love him? Yeah, I had a lot. Yeah, I wanted to please him. I wanted to marry him. I was jealous of him and his family situation. Yes, I wanted that. I damn near used freak offs to push him further. Hey, you know, I really enjoy the freak offs, but I don't want it to just be sexual. This was testimony. This was testimony. I want to be more to you. I want to have something to come home. You're trying to be the wife, and that's cool. But there's a lot of fucking consent here, Dawn Richard. You don't want to be there. Walk the fuck out the door right there. You actually, ladies, further empower a man if you show him he could slap you, he could verbally abuse you, he could tell you sit the fuck down, and you comply with it. And not only comply with it, you continue to go along with the fucking program. You further empower him then. Because People do. You ever hear this saying? I should have took the big screen. I didn't know I was going to go on a rant. I apologize, people, but this is part of podcasting. You ever hear the saying, people do what people allow? Diddy didn't meet Cassie or Dawn Richards day one and say, nice to meet you. By the way, I'm fitting to piss in your mouth. I'm fitting to I'm fitting to make you do this on your period. I'm fitting to imprison you. That's not how it happens. People do what people allow. Diddy rolls up on the wrong woman. He's got one time. He might get punched in the face. Certain women, you know how many women in the world will punch Diddy dead in the fucking. This is where I got to give credit to the women that's out there that ain't going for none of this shit. We can't forget them, fellas. Because as much as we're gonna say, oh, victim, 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 there's a lot of people that'll never be your fucking victim for 10 plus years. Or in Dawn Richards' case, what they're saying is re-upping and going through another contract renewal. I can't be a victim, even from a business standpoint. If I'm Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheik Luch, that first contract with Diddy is crazy. And then we go on this whole campaign, free the locks, right? Now, if I come back and I re-up with you, allegedly Dawn Richards, as the locks and say, yo, Diddy, man, we had this whole big public fallout. People didn't even want to see the locks and Diddy in the same fucking room. They thought it would be up. Were you there? Do y'all remember this? Free the Locks campaign around the time that We Are the Streets album came out from the Locks. Y'all remember? Now imagine all of that happens. And then we hear the Locks went back and signed another fucking deal with Diddy. You know what we would say? Oh, don't complain to me again then. Whatever. Ladies, y'all got your homegirls like that too. He did what? Fuck that, leave him. Yeah, I'm leaving him, girl. Boom. And then 2 months later, you call her, hey, girl, where you at? We going now. Oh, no, I'm still with Derek. Derek? The one that you called me 4 months ago saying that he beat the shit out of you? Him? Same Derek? Or I hope there's another Derek that you met. Nah, same Derek. Nah, we figured it out. Nah, that was just an accident or whatever. Girl, bye. Happens all the time. People do what people allow. Don't tell me you was fucking imprisoned in a fucking home with no handcuffs on your wrist or no guns to your fucking head. And then 20 years later, 3 million. This is why you got a lot of support out there for Diddy. And he might not really deserve it as per the man that he allegedly is, but there's a lot of support out there for him because of this type of shit. "10-minute rants is something we got to deal with. Let me get a 100 in the chat if you agree with me, and let me get a nah, AR, you missing out on certain things if you disagree. Chat time. Let me take a quick moment. Chat time. I'm gonna get back into this article, y'all. We're not done with I'm telling you, this Dawn Richards shit is important to the trial. I'm telling y'all. 100. Is there anybody that disagrees? 100. A bunch of 100s. Is there anybody that disagrees? 1000%. I love to see the ladies. Shout out to the ladies in the bill. I love to see when the ladies, because these situations are involving victims that are women. There's some men, there's some John Does in this shit, right? But when we talk about Dawn, when we talk about there's a lot of this is victims that are women so far. So I love when I can get opinions back, agree or disagree from the women that's in the building. Oh my goodness. Chat said Stockholm syndrome. That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to all the members in the building. Shout out to the mods. I see some of our mods in here too. All right, let's get back into this article. When I read this, what is this? One sentence? I told you I got some reactions to it, right? Having to take me on a 10-minute rant, so be it. According to the complaint, obtained Wednesday by the Times, Richard alleged that Combs flagrantly exploited her as a singer and writer by withholding her earnings, stealing her copyrighted works, and subjected her to years of inhumane working conditions. My quick reaction to that is I would side with Dawn on that. I'm such a fair person. I could go off on Dawn, and then it takes me a split second to read something and say, nope, that's on your side. Because just like the statute of limitations angle that we talked about earlier, there's stuff in this last sentence that we just read that should be black and white, i.e., withholding my earnings. Do I have a contract that I'm supposed to be paid here, 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 here? Did I get paid at this time? No, 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 no. Okay. All right, then. That's supposed to be black and white stuff. Stealing her copyrighted works, that's supposed to be black and white too. If you copyright what works is? Like, let's say Max Out 3. Max Out 3 is copyrighted, right? You have to go through this process where you submit like each piece of content as a work. And then there's different classifications on it and everything. You could do it over websites. And then it all comes back to you later on. And sometimes if there's any questions on it, like the designations of your works, you'll be assigned somebody. They'll go back and forth to you via email to answer certain questions, all that type of stuff. But, Hitman Holla versus Ill Will, for example, I'm pointing at a picture I have up here on the wall. It has a copyright. It's a work, right? I can show that. I can show that paperwork. I can show that receipt. I can show that's my content. So that's black and white stuff. If somebody went and took Hitman Holla versus Ill Will off of the YouTube channel and then started to sell it or was making money off of it without my approval or me being cut in or whatever, then that's black and white in my claim. So there's stuff in there that you should be able to easily prove. The inhumane working conditions, though, I don't know. There's people that live in fucking. Ever see some of this shit on Instagram where these people's backgrounds are just disgusting? Like, where do you live? like somebody I see one the other day. It was like these 3 girls and it was all bad. They was having like a little girls' night together. They was all bad as shit on camera, twerking and everything. And if you just stop looking at the fucking ass wiggling on camera for a second, you look in the background, it's like, yo, they had like a pizza box and on a box, like the table was a box. Anybody know the one I'm talking about? It was viral like last week. They had a table as a box. Somebody even photoshopped it and said, "Girl, let me help you," and edited the picture and took away the box and put like what looked like a real table underneath. Like, here, let me give you a table for your food. It was just a fucking war zone in the background. Like, ew, people want to live like that, you know? And y'all ain't gonna consider that inhumane. That's just a dirty, nasty, sloppy person. We talked about this before. You put me in a 1-bedroom in the projects. I promise you, when you walk through the door, it's gonna look like Simi shit in Coming to America. The jacuzzi right in the middle of the living room, all of that. I don't care if I got 100 square feet in the projects. My shit is gonna be done up to the best of my ability. Okay? Inhumane. This is another one of those trigger words. It's happening to me again. Just like in prison, I'm triggered again. Inhumane. I need details. The copyright and the wasn't paid on time shit, black and white to me. I'm with you, Dawn. Inhumane. Explain to me what's inhumane. There wasn't caviar on Tuesdays, only Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. You see, I'm being sarcastic, but what's your definition of inhumane? What's your definition of imprisonment? Now I'm so looking forward to her getting back on the stand tomorrow. We are in sorry as true mode for real today. I swear to God, I thought I was just going to deliver this as a news update. I didn't know I was going to really get in the weeds like this, but I'm triggered, B. Fucking triggered. I'm triggered. Triggered ARP does this. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know me by now. Combs, the complaint said, manipulated Richard with mantras that submission to his depraved demands was necessary for career advancement, which instilled in Richard the belief that such abuse and exploitation were required for female artists to succeed in the music industry. That, if I hear some good details and testimony to that, I would side with Dawn, because yes, there is a difference, especially in this country, in the world, period, of men versus women in the workplace, right? That's where you get a lot of companies going through exercises to balance cultural, balance race, balance male, female in the workplace, and being exploited because women have a harder time. That's a reality. That's a reality in this world. Okay. Got a lot of women that think that they need to fuck their way to the top, So that happens. Give me the details. Let me know. Let me know. Dawn. When Miss Richard resisted Combs' advances, Mr. Combs retaliated by denying her singing parts in songs, removing her from songs, refusing to allow her to sign to performances, and turning her microphone off during performances. The more Miss Richard rebuffed his advances, the more Mr. Combs' retaliatory behavior increased, the complaint said. That's one of those that you got to prove. It's one of those that you got to prove. He's making niggas walk for cheesecake and shit. We see it in him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we do see that type of shit in him. Where Dave Chappelle joked on the same thing. He did the skit on making the band. Like, you know what? Studio shut down. We see that. Even Cassie said he would take the car, take the house, take the jewelry, right? The nigga is punishing grown men and women. He put them on punishment. It's crazy. But how do you prove I removed you from this song because you denied my advances? All seriousness, how do you prove that? I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be real. If I'm coming and I'm saying I was on this song and he took me off because a week prior he tried to grab me and I walked away, or he tried to touch me and I walked away. How do you prove that? The defense can just say, I hated your fucking vocals and I took you off the song. Right now, retaliation in a workplace, that's a very real thing as well. Go ahead and fuck with that in corporate America around HR. You can't do it. Can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Um, if your boss, if you have a team of 5 people and you're the only one that he asked to stay late to finish up continued projects, the rest of your peers, they never get asked to stay. And you go to HR about that, right? And then he comes back and he says, oh, word? Bet. Now I'm giving you 3 projects per week and you staying late. That's going to be considered retaliation. And let a boss do that in corporate America in a workplace, you take that to a lawyer fast. Retaliation is very, very, very scrutinized in corporate America work environments. So if she could come with that, it'll be very helpful for her. What is this? There's a couple more pieces in here. Richard named Combs record executive, Herb Peer, remote production, Sony Music Publishing, and several Bad Boy and Combs branded businesses, among others, as defendants. She wants a jury trial and unspecified compensation damages, a financial judgment for mental pain, anguish, emotional distress, punitive and exemplary damages, and payment of legal fees. Now, I did hear it's $3 million, but who knows? Representatives for Combs did not immediately respond Wednesday. So this was when it was filed. Once again, this was last year. Richard alleged in the lawsuit that she witnessed Combs physically abusing and brutally beating Ventura. So remember, she just testified Friday. There was a situation. He was in the crib. Cassie and Diddy got into it. He tried to hit her with a skillet, dragged her upstairs. And then she started hearing a bunch of glass breaking and stuff while they was upstairs. She didn't call the police out of fear. She didn't leave. That was part of her testimony this past Friday, right? Let's see what the defense does with some of that. Mr. Combs' namesake temper frequently manifested in physical violence. We heard all of that already. His persistent abuse, we heard all of that. Mr. Combs learned of her efforts to help Miss Ventura. I'll tell you this, because I think that this is going to stay consistent throughout the rest. Right? And here we go. His highly publicized civil lawsuits that he could win will bear in favor. If he beats this case, this criminal case, I got the leather A on today. I don't know about that. If he beats this criminal case, he's still going to have to deal with a shitload of civil situations, right? You don't know if he goes tactical and files bankruptcy. Even 50 Cent filed bankruptcy after he lost his case with Rick Ross's baby mother, right? Or even if he starts to pay those off, and we know that sometimes these cases could run for years and years and years and years and years. It's the public ones that can help him. What's the public ones? The public ones involve people that we know. So this random person that just put a civil suit on Diddy, that's saying, yeah, once upon a time he touched me at a freak off or at an all white party as well. It's flying under the radar, and nobody's going to give it attention. There's 100 of them at this point. But when you have alleged co-defendant of Jay-Z, right, and Jay-Z gets that knocked out, right, that helps Diddy, especially publicly. And I don't care if the jury's been instructed, don't pay attention to nothing. They all see this shit and know about a lot of this. Cut it out. It's too big news. They was following it before they ended up landing in the jury pool. Cut it out. All right. Some of them dying to be on the fucking jury. Like, I want to really be here. Some of them just want to be able to get an opportunity 5 years from now to be able to write a book. That's real talk. But like the Jay-Z one, for example, right? Another one is right here in front of us. Dawn Richard, Danity Kane. This is somebody that we know. This is what people will consider a celebrity name. Okay. So if that goes against him, even the little small people that we never heard of, it helps them to a degree. All right. Those lawyers all over there, the other 100 that's on his heels, they'll use that. They'll use this criminal case as well in their shit. They absolutely will. If he beats this Danity Kane stuff and people have similar claims and accusations in their lawsuit, Diddy can use that. It's a trickle-down effect. It's a domino effect. You know, I know that they want to act like every case is to be tried separately and treated separately. That's true. Legally, process-wise, yes. But tactically, how you defend or prosecute or be a plaintiff towards these situations, it's absolutely going to have tie-ins. Because down the road, why wouldn't Diddy's lawyer say, oh, they're claiming the same thing that this person said I did when I was with Jay-Z. And you saw what happened with that. And somebody got to make a judgment on all these details that your lawyer brings to the table. Okay? So she has a situation here where she's on the stand. Will she be the only person that takes the stand in this criminal trial that has a civil lawsuit against Diddy? And if so, does that mean that she has motive? Going to go after that? It's no different when ASAP Relly, when they're just like, yo, what's these tweets about or these DMs about when you talk about, I don't give a fuck about that nigga. In a couple months, I'm going to be laid up on an island. The lawyers use it. The lawyers use it. Tomorrow, she gets back on the stand. I hope that was a good breakdown for y'all. So you see why I felt like, yo, that's not light. That's why. That's not light. Dawn Richard is not light. It's a big deal, people. What's going on in the chat? What's going on in the chat? Was this about the homie Ness? I remember Ness had a song, My Hood with Cousin, hated that shit. Or y'all talk about people from making a band now and whatnot. All right. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Okay. Let's get to Chris Brown. Shout out to Chris Brown, man. Some of y'all in the checks and balances chat got $3,000 tickets to his tour, huh? Hope everything goes smooth for y'all. All right, so there's been recent developments. We know that Chris Brown was taken into custody overseas for an alleged prior incident where a man claims that he was assaulted, hit over the head with a bottle in a nightclub, stomped out by Chris Brown. So that he went into a particular what was it, outside? Did he get him at the hotel? Yeah. So he flies back over there and they say, oh yeah, by the way, we need you for something else. What? It's like, Chris Brown, damn, you didn't know that you probably shouldn't have been there. Like, maybe, who knows? But he saw the judge, what was it, Friday? And he was denied bond. He's still in custody right now. He was denied bail. And that's one thing that I threw out there when we initially covered it, was that I wonder if they're going to consider him a flight risk, because this is years old, this situation. And they had to wait for him to come back into town to grab him. So immediately that's going to be a cause to say flight risk. Will we have an opportunity to get him again? Obviously they didn't invoke some extradition situation to the United States because he's been running around ever since this alleged incident, right? So he's in jail right now, no bail set. I think he's got to wait about a month from now. He's going to be in prison to see the judge again. Will he get bail then? Who knows? But look at this detail. Chris Brown, second rapper charged in alleged London assault case. So now they got somebody else. And this is the person here. We're going to get into a little bit more of his background. I got a separate article to bring up. I want to look a little bit more into who this person is. It's possible Chris Brown did not act alone in the alleged 2023 bottle smashing incident at a London nightclub, because a second man has been charged in connection to the alleged assault. The first question that I have, and some people are going to start to ask, is why now for him too? So Chris Brown, we're pretty much finding out, hey, he flew into town, and they're like, oh, he's here, and they grabbed him. Were you on this guy's heels this whole time? What made you apprehend this person 24 to 48 hours after Chris Brown was apprehended? No, we ain't gonna run around and do this whole, oh, Chris Brown snitching on the other person. I ain't doing that. Like, we're not gonna, unless somebody gives me some paperwork, checks and balances. Maybe we should go once again. Let's try to see if we can find some paperwork on him now as well. It would have went in this week, I believe. And Chris Brown's old one, so we can look at more of the details of the alleged assault, even though we got a lot of details already. But that's timing for your ass right there, right? They just grabbed him. But let's continue. So this is his name. Rapper Hood Baby, whose real name is however you pronounce that, is charged with grievous bodily harm with intent and is due to appear at Manchester Court on Saturday, London's Metropolitan Police confirmed in a statement. Okay, here's him again. As we reported, Chris Brown appeared at the same court Friday after being charged with one count of grievous bodily harm. Okay. A judge ruled Chris Brown will remain in police custody until his next court appearance, which will be London South Park Crown Court, June 13th. Once again, yeah, that's just under a month from now. Brown's detainment is rough timing for him. He is scheduled to kick off his Breezy Bowl tour on June 8th in the Netherlands. Yeah, we broke that down when we first started talking about this. He's only got one big gap in his tour. It's like lands in the middle of his schedule. It's like a month off almost, like 20 plus days off, it seemed like. I think that gap was like in July. But pretty much all his other locations that he's hitting for his tour, they're only like a day or 2 days apart from each other. So it's boom, boom, boom. He's on the move during this tour. It closes out towards the end of September, I believe. So, you know, if he gets bail when he goes back in June, what he's got to ask for is like, hey, if I got to come back and if I have to, you know, have a court date, can we please put that court date during that gap that he has, just so he can maintain his dates? Because this tour is a big situation. It's a lot of money on the table. It's backed by Live Nation. He's got features on the tour with him. A lot of fans have been talking about this and buying tickets. This is a big situation. He's going to be making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars doing this tour. So if you're going to let him out, your lawyer got to put that on the table. Please give my client the ability to continue to work and earn. You know, he works in the music industry, so he must travel. He must move around. Don't put him on house arrest, please. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go for that if you're Chris Brown's lawyer, or else there's going to be a lot of money at stake here, business at stake here. All right, no word yet as to the status of the tour, but things aren't looking good. Now, these are pictures they have from the alleged incident, February 2023. This is Chris at Tape Nightclub, right? So they got pictures of him there on the date in question. So they got placement, right? It's already mounting up. It's not like a Drewski type of situation where somebody puts some bogus ass claim on him that he SA'd somebody, and then Drewski comes with bank statements and text messages saying, I was states away. What the f are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? No, they have him placed there. It's the same reason why when Dirk got indicted, and we read allegedly that he was like at a podcast while he was in LA at that time, the around the days of the shooting. A lot of us tried to find the podcast, and I don't think it's been found yet, which means possibly, allegedly, somebody from Dirk's camp might have reached out and said, "Yo, take that shit down." You never know. You never know. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. But yeah, he's placed there, which never bodes well. Okay. As you know, under the influence singer is accused of smashing music producer Abe Dial over the head with a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila at the Tape Club in London in 2023, leading to his arrest. Now, here's another detail I didn't have when we first spoke on this news, that it's a music producer. Why is that relevant? Because I got into a little spiel about, come on, Chris Brown, you already got this reputation, you already got this back history. I know you got the bad boy image and you get into a lot of shit. You was a whole gangbanger. You was a whole blood of Pyru and all that, right? But at this point in your career, given what you have already been through in 2023, why are you in a club stomping somebody out? So when I was reporting on that initially and we were covering it, I'm just thinking about another patron in the club. Maybe got into it. Hey, we bumped, stepped on my fresh Jordans, some stupid shit. Maybe it pops off, and Chris Brown, who is alleged to have a temper, pops off or gets into it. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. That's the only thing I was assuming. If this is actually true, to say that this person is a music producer is 100% relevant because that creates more ties. That creates more ties. That creates more relevancy. Like, okay, this is a music artist. What situation would he have to end up in a physical altercation in the club with? Well, oh, this argument over this beat, or yo, you didn't pay me for the beat, or yo, you didn't clear the beat, or what? A music producer, somebody that's also in the music industry. So that adds more context, believe it or not. We want to see Chris Brown home, but we are gonna be honest about how some of this stuff mounts up. Dial sued Brown over alleged assault, accusing him of beating him unconscious and causing serious injuries that left him hospitalized. It also said that he came out on crutches and all that. So yeah, he's going to be able to justify the amounts of money that he's going for. All right, but now let's continue to look a little bit more now into the alleged co-defendant. This is from June 2019. So he's not even from out there. This alleged co-defendant that just got arrested right after Chris Brown. It's from Texas. Texas rapper Hoodie Baby arrested after allegedly hitting couple at Miami Beach Club. Now, this is a totally different alleged incident. Not good. Guess what the prosecution's going to do? They're going to bring this up. I just tripped over this while I was trying to find out who the hell Hoodie Baby is. Is he popular, chat? Texas. If any Texas folks are in the chat, or if you watch this after the stream's over, drop a comment. Is this guy Hoodie Baby? Is he popular? Is he big out there? Does he have any hits that I don't know about? I could be out the loop. A water splash led to Texas rapper getting arrested for battery at a Miami Beach nightclub. Rapper and media label executive, and that's his name again, also known as Hoodie Baby, was arrested early Sunday after he struck two patrons at Story nightclub in Miami Beach. They're saying this was over a splash of water. You ever see those videos of like those clips? It shows a pool party, a black pool party, and nobody's in the fucking water. It's as if black people are fucking gremlins. Like we can't get wet. Especially women with their hair. Black women. Like, nah, man, we ain't for getting wet. A whole fucking pool party, 1,000 people there, beautiful ass pool, and nobody's in the bitch. Like, nigga, ARP called black people gremlins when it comes to water, B. I'm just saying it's a stereotype that we've earned, I guess, right? But over splash water, man. Oh shit, my outfit got wet. The fuck? It's time to pop off now. Like I was at the Kendrick Lamar tour. It was like 2 weeks ago, whatever. And I had somebody that was sitting behind me. This nigga elbowed the shit out of the back of my head, yo. Out of the back. We talk about water here, right? I'm sitting there. I don't even remember what song it was. I'm just deep into the show, having a great time. boom. I said, oh shit. I turned around real quick. The fuck? And as I'm turning around, a guy goes like this. He got one hand over his mouth and he puts one hand on my shoulder. He's like, oh, my bad. So it took me split seconds to realize, am I under attack? Should I have a problem? Is this person apologetic? Was it an accident? It only took me split seconds. The nigga, I mean, I wasn't in pain or nothing. Like, I'm exaggerating, but it hit me hard as shit. Like, he must have just been dancing behind me or whatever and just caught the back of my head. I might have been sitting down, I forget, but I just got hit in the back of my head. And as I turned around, immediately dude was apologizing as he's supposed to. I would did the same thing. Oh shit, my bad, it was an accident. And I had no venom in me. In seconds, you turn around with that quick adrenaline rush. Like, what the fuck? You turn around with that quick adrenaline attention time. Like, what the fuck is going on? Ready to take care of yourself, handle your business, fight, react, whatever, argue, whatever it's going to be. I don't know if it's about to be a woman I turn around to. You just don't know, right? But in split seconds, I realized, oh, and then everything left my body. Adrenaline, everything. Oh, now it's all good, homie. It's all good, yo. I'll turn back around. And then maybe for like a minute or two, maybe it's in the back of your mind, like, am I going to get hit again on accident? Let me make sure this nigga isn't drunk behind me. And then within 5 minutes, I'm not even paying attention to that anymore. You know? I guess I got into that to say, people, we do get into it over stupid shit, not just black people and water. All of us. We get into it over stupid shit. I got into it over my sneakers before. I was a child at the time. You know what I'm saying? I got into it over my clothes before. I was a child at the time. I got into it over ice grills before. I was a child at the time. I got into it over a lot of stupid shit. Probably $5 or whatever. Going to public schools, the schools that I went to, school system, hang around people that I hang around, growing up the way I grew up, get into a lot of stupid shit over stupid reasons and with stupid people. And sometimes it's because you're stupid at the time as well, right? Get a little bit older and you mature, right? Especially you have something to lose, something to live for. You splash me today, you splash me all you want. I'm not trying to bust your head open for fucking you splashing me with water B. I'm walking away. I'm pulling a Michael B. Jordan. Hey, could I get that fade? I'm gonna look at you, make sure I got my distance. The only thing that Michael B. Jordan did in that situation was he turned his back. But I'm always gonna try do my best to avoid issues at this point in life. Don't walk up on me. That's the only thing you can't do. Don't get close to me. Don't threaten me and walk up on me at the same time. You're gonna have a big problem, right? But you can stand over there and mouth off all you want. If I'm in a club and I look across to this other VIP section over there and there's 5 niggas just standing there and they're just ice grilling us all night, I'm gonna put my peoples on warning. We're gonna pay attention for a little bit. And if the energy remains there, the best thing for me to do is to be like, yo, fellas, let's take it somewhere else. We at that point in life, like we can hop around. We can afford to do what we want. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's take it somewhere else, man. Energy here is a little, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Let me stay on this rant. I went out one night with my boy A. Shout out to my man Aaron. There was a couple other people with us too, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I get at my man Aaron all the time, man. He pisses me off when he does this shit. For whatever reason, he likes to put his car keys and his cell phone on the table, like that has all the bottles and shit. And I was like, we're partying. Like you could look up for a split second and look down, and it's like he just has this habit, like putting this shit on the table. Now, this is our private space, but people could still be coming in and out, hanging out, whatever. And it's just like he always does that. Anyway, one thing that it signifies, especially with the type of car keys these niggas be having, is I might have put that picture from like one of those nights on my Instagram. I did. Like I took a picture of like a night we was out. It's on my gram, like maybe a couple months ago, maybe. Like you see a Bentley key, you see a bunch of Mercedes keys and all this type of stuff. We were just hanging out. And some girls came over. And that's an indicator. Those keys there. Well, man, who's got the Bentley? Who's got the Mercedes? Who's got the G-Wagon? Who's got the, you know what I'm saying? It's an indicator. But my boy A was on point because it was just hanging out. You know, these girls is flocking around, just trying to whatever. And I guess they was just checking us out, but then they head back across the other side of the club. My man Aaron realized that one of the girls that had like tried to come around us for a second was then on the other side of the club talking to a bunch of guys. And you can't read their lips over the music, but you can see it. You can tell that it's giving drops. You can see it. You can see it as like the whisper in the ear, and then you can see like him, like for example, listening in the ear, shaking his head, and then look right over to us. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I just say that to say, when you're in these situations, if you find out about them, it's best to remove yourself. Don't get water splashed on you and end up catching an assault charge. Walking away is one of the best things because there's danger out there every fucking corner you turn. We could just be trying to have a good time on a regular fellas night out on a Saturday, and here over in the corner is the wolves plotting on shit, looking for niggas that they think might got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was definitely a side mission off of this motherfucker with his water. My bad. I got y'all. Let's get back on track. That's the point of the Sorry Shoot podcast. It's different over here, people. Y'all know y'all get different stuff over here. Rapper and media label executive, yada yada, Hoodie Baby was arrested early Sunday after he struck two patrons at Story nightclub. Okay. The couple, a man and woman, were at the club when he jumped over a metal rail and struck them after water from a woman's water bottle splashed in his face, according to an arrest report. She became excited and began to shake the water bottle. The cap of the bottle came off of the water and splashed her husband and the defendant, the arrest report read. So that's in the arrest report. I don't care to read too much more about him. I don't know about him. Y'all got to hit me. I don't know who he is, but he's now under arrest as Chris Brown's co-defendant. Allegedly. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, but I don't know how much updates we're going to see unless we go grab the docket and see if there's any motions that go in and whatnot. But other than that, how much more are we going to see until about a month from now when he goes back to see the judge? So, you know, free Chris Brown for the moment. You know, we don't have more details. So if we live in a world of innocent until proven guilty, and you got this promoter alleged that something happened to him, and I'm pretty sure Chris Brown would say that we ain't do nothing to him. You know, for now, I don't got more detail. I'm just gonna say free Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? But all right, we'll leave that there. Speaking of the Browns, Antonio Brown. So I saw this flying around crazy. It was like some of the biggest news of the weekend. Let's come up to speed real quick. He was allegedly involved in a shooting as well as an altercation over his jewelry. All right, so let's check out at least this video, which is going to give us a backdrop.
Back up! Back up! Who's that? Oh, sorry. Get that nigga, bro. Who's who? Back up! Oh, back up! Who's that?
I don't hear any gunshot. Am I supposed to hear gunshots? All right. So then he come out and say that he wasn't arrested. So if the cuffs go on, you are under arrest, right? There's differences between being detained, questioned, under arrest. So he had the cuffs on right there. Aiden Ross, known as an avid supporter.
Y'all putting your hands on AB, bro. That guy's gotta go to. I'll press charges. Why is he detained? He's detained.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes,
Yeah, so he just said it. He's like, why is he detained? He's like, I don't care what I gotta do. I'll press charges. Oh wait. This is somebody that's trying to run away from the situation. Did she hear shots?
oh my god! Yes, god! Oh my god!
He said he has a gun. She said he has a gun.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, there you go.
Guys!
Okay, so we did hear a shot. Yeah, obviously I didn't play this whole video yet, y'all. So we did hear a shot there. Okay. Heard one shot.
Everybody!
Yeah, and here's AB after.
Catch up. Yeah, catch up. Yeah, I got CT out. Blacked out. Blacked out, dude. Blacked out, ain't it? I know you did. You know what? I know. Take a chain up.
Now, I would be very careful. I understand if he's, obviously gets released and then goes to Aiden Ross's stream after this incident. So if he's out and he's released, obviously he's cleared currently from any wrongdoing of the overall incident, whether shot fired from him or whoever, including the actual fight footage that is out there for everybody to see, right? So you got to be cleared for the moment from that for him to be here right now. Me personally, I still be very careful because him being here saying things like, hey man, I blacked out, or this saying any of that stuff now on Aiden Ross's stream, Aiden Ross has a huge platform, because you just never know if you face anything civilly. We're just in that world right now, people. It's like civil suits is eggshells. People, it's the new job. It's the new fucking hustle. It's disgusting, but you never know. God forbid somebody was hit or affected by that shot that went off. Now, we didn't hear any of those reports, so we ain't gonna do that to Antonio or to AB. But what if during running from the situation, like the footage of that girl when we heard the shot, what if somebody claims that they got trampled or they fell? You know what I'm saying? People will make you liable for all different types of stuff. You had a fight over there. I wasn't involved, but there was such a big melee, it made me run. And when I ran, I tripped and I fell and I went to the hospital. I came out on crutches, physical pain, anguish, mental distress, loss of work, trauma, mental instability. It's true. I'm laughing, but it's real, right? So I'll be careful of saying anything around this. Now, he has a statement that was put up. And even this is stuff that you got to be careful. Make sure you're going to put out public statements. You see, this is from his IG, AB84. Maybe a lawyer should read it. Go Shannon Sharp and proofread if you need to. Read off the teleprompter, do what you got to do. But let's read his statement. Let me put it up on a big screen. Regarding the boxing event that happened last night. So he called it a boxing event. This wasn't a boxing. It was Aiden Ross. Was it a boxing event that Aiden Ross threw, or is he calling the incident a boxing event? He's being funny. All right. Regarding the boxing event that happened last night, I was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Contrary to some video circulating, police temporarily detained me until they received my side of the story and then released me. I went home that night and was not arrested. Well, you were arrested, but you went home that night. We clearly see the footage of you being arrested. The handcuffs go on. That's under arrest. That's by definition. I will be talking to my legal counsel and attorneys on pressing charges on the individuals that jumped me. Nothing wrong with that. He's a civilian, right? I don't know nothing about him being no gangster or street nigga. I will keep you all posted step by step on the process. Thank you all for your support and love, AB84. Now, I don't say anything that's wild about the statement. I don't see how he could hurt himself with that statement. I don't see anything incriminating. That's nothing like that. But he's saying from his words, they got his side of the story, then he was released. Unfortunately, we live in a world where you could work hard, purchase new belongings, a house, a car, a watch, a chain, and it's in danger, right? We try to adapt to the world by saying, listen, man, if you're going to be moving around with $80,000 on your neck, you got to move a certain way because people are looking for that. That's a come up. The wolves is outside every day, all day. have security with you, don't go to certain places, only wear your jewelry around certain spots. Shouldn't have to do that. It's not breaking street code to just enjoy my success, right? But here's the thing. AB is obviously a celebrity. He's obviously a big name. And if he's walking around dancing like that, even if he could be a target, right? It appears he might have been allegedly his own security on this particular night. Allegedly, his own security. You know what I'm saying? When people carry, hey, if there's 10 down and 1 up, meaning, you know, let me shut up. If you're walking around with 11 in total, hypothetically, you're not by yourself. You're not by yourself. There's 12 of you then. That's the way I always said it, right? How many people are you with? I'm not with anybody, but I'm not alone. If you catch my drift, you're your own security. Did anybody see the clip when I told that to Hitman during the argument? It's on the 15 Minutes of Fame channel. When he was like, I came in here by myself. Anyway. When me and Hitman was arguing over the Cassidy shit. Well, me and him wasn't into it, but it was just a tense moment and we was just going back and forth. But he might have been his own security. And this all takes place in Florida, right? A stand your ground state. Let me tell you something, man. If this scenario truly equates to, here I am enjoying life out and about, and I'm at Aiden Ross's events or any event, doesn't matter whose event it is. Some people run down on me, whether they want to rob me, whether they want to, Philly, I see you. Whether they want to rob me, saying the plus is the giveaway. I just said X amount down, X amount up. Saying the plus is the giveaway. Now you're talking more reckless than me. But whether they tried to rob me, whether somebody just don't like me, whether it's fans of a different team that I disrespected, it don't matter. You walked up on me with ill intent. If that's the case, and he had to defend himself, and he drew his weapon, I have zero problem with that. And I 1000% agree with it. I believe in the ability to protect yourself. I believe in the ability to defend yourself and your loved ones or others. I 1000% support that. And I can almost bet my last dime I wouldn't be on the other side of that equation, because I don't believe in fucking with people. I don't. You're never going to hear of a scenario where AR walked up on somebody and say, yo, that's a nice chain, man. Let me see that. You're never going to hear that. And if that person felt, and then I advanced him and tried to grab him, and then he shot me in my hip because I was trying to, you're never going to hear that story from about me ever. You know, I don't believe in trying to take from people. Even I believe that burglars are even scum. To me, it's different than like a burglar and a thief. Like somebody that's gonna walk up on you and strong arm you for your chain. Hey, you might have earned it, you know. But a burglar, that people that break in homes and smash the windows of your cars and shit, I believe that's you're scum. Oh, earn something. Like go work hard the way that person did, whose fucking window you smash in, to go rip out their radio or some shit, or crawl through the window of their crib. I get it. It's the world we live in. That's why we all do security and people have guns and all that type of stuff. But if you advance on somebody and you force them to defend themselves, I totally agree with that shit. If that means I feel like I need to apply deadly force, now that is always a factor, especially if somebody gets hit. Now, luckily for AB, nobody got hit, or else I think we would have heard of that by now. Nobody got hit. Okay, there's still charges out there. You could be in a stand your ground state and you could be carrying a legal firearm, but discharging in a certain place. Okay, I have a legal gun. Does that mean I could go shoot in a school district? No. Does that mean I could shoot in the middle of the mall? No. Does that mean I could shoot in? No. Now, rather judge by 6 and carry by 12, whatever the saying is. Some people's like, I don't give a fuck. Some guy and ran into the Batman movie. This is a real story, right? Movie premiere. And I don't give a fuck I'm supposed to let off in the movie theater or not. I did then. Hopefully get justified. That's the point of going through a court process and a jury hearing out the details, right? But you're not even supposed to be able to let your gun off in certain areas, right? So even if you are defending yourself, you're still also responsible for everything that leaves your weapon. You hit somebody in the background. Okay, you were defending yourself, but you hit this bystander over there. You got a big problem. You got a big problem. So I believe in defending yourself, right? And I'm glad it went like this. I'm glad it went like this, because obviously they let him go. I think he needs to be careful now in case anything civilly, just the world that we live in. Luckily, nobody got hit. And it's another reminder of if his details are accurate, it's not about enjoying your success or enjoying your life or just having a night out. And people have turned a great night out into a nightmare simply because maybe they want what you have. So you got to defend it. That's it. It's disgusting. All right. Let's get AB down. Did I have another AB detail? No. Oh, here's a quick one to run to. I don't think any of the rest of these is going to be too long. You know how we do. We do the ones that I know is a bigger discussion. I get those out the way nice and early. But I think the rest of these will be a little bit faster for y'all. Quick Tory Lanez update. Let's check this out. Megan Thee Stallion's fans are donating money to the inmate accused of stabbing Tory Lanez 14 times. Look at this. Support Santino Casio for his service. The goal is $20,000. Now he's already serving life, so I don't give a fuck about no legal fees, right? He's already serving life. What do you need $20,000 for? Whatever. Somebody put up a GoFundMe for 20 grand. Campaign created by this person. Y'all can look into her if y'all want. I raised 2,600 so far. So Meg's fans ain't coming through crazy. 2,600 ain't a lot of money. God knows where it's at right now. But let's say hypothetically this was Meg Thee Stallion's fans that are donating to this GoFundMe. That would be disgusting. Why? You could be a Meg fan. You could believe that Tory shot her in the foot. But there's a human side that you're supposed to say, that has nothing to do with this man being convicted, to what some of y'all would then be on Meg's side and say is just him being incarcerated. He's in prison. Tory is in prison right now. And then another man almost takes his life. That's not even an equal trade. Because even if you do believe that he shot her, okay, justice was found then for you. He's in prison. But that toe shot or foot shot while she's still out here twerking around the world, and he's in prison getting his lungs collapsed while serving time for something that he was convicted of, that's not an equal trade. It's not an equal trade. So let's hope that people ain't saying, oh yes, let him die in there. That's somebody you're not a fan, you're a groupie of Meg then. You're a groupie. You're the way that person lives, the way that their thought process is, that I don't see how people like that even become successful in the world. It's because the thought pattern alone just makes you a different type of person and character and thinker. Like, oh, I hate Tory Lanez because my favorite artist was shot in the foot and she said he did it, so I'm with her. Okay, fine. No problem. Guilty, he's found. Yes, Tory Lanez is in jail. That's it. Walk away. Go pop your bottle of champagne. You won. And then X amount of time later, you hear, oh, his lungs collapsed because he got stabbed in his chest, his back, and back of his head 14 times. He was almost killed. Yes. What? Stay over there. Different type of person. Support Santino Casio for his service. Santino Casio made a bold and courageous statement, one that echoed on behalf of the women everywhere. In a moment of righteous fury, he took action against Tory Lanez, a man convicted of Megan Thee Stallion and continuously glorified by the internet despite the trauma he caused. Santino now faces harsh punishment and legal consequences for what many believe was a symbolic act of justice inside the system. The act of justice was him getting found guilty, you fucking idiots. Who wrote this right here? Is this coming from the description on the GoFundMe? That's disgusting. And women around the world, trust me when I say this is not your justice. This is not what you need. If Tory Lanez acted on Megan Thee Stallion by shooting her in the foot or shooting her anywhere, then he's supposed to face the, for lack of better words, music. Okay? And even me as a man, you show me that, yo, he shot this woman. It doesn't even have to be about it being a woman. You shot somebody unjustly. I don't agree with it because I don't want it to happen to me or mine. I don't want to hear that one of my boys or somebody in my family or even me, you know, I'm not threatening somebody's health or something like that, but somebody pulled out a gun and shot me in the foot. I don't want it for me. I don't want it for nobody that I'm around. I don't want it for y'all in the chat. I don't want it for anybody. So I don't want it for Meg neither. I don't. But if he's found guilty, justice was served for those people that believe it, and then that's it. You can't, I hope that's not on the GoFundMe. You can't say, don't try to put that on all these women out there, because women shouldn't claim this. Women shouldn't claim this. He made a bold and courageous statement, one that echoed on behalf. On behalf. Who's this on behalf of? Ladies, y'all claiming this? If you on Meg's side of this? On behalf of women everywhere. No, you don't speak for all women with that. You don't speak for no women that I converse with. You don't speak for them. You don't speak for them. That's nasty work. That's nasty work. That really is nasty work. Now on the other side, over 110,000 people signed a petition in less than a day, urging the Cali government to pardon Tory Lanez after new evidence suggested his innocence. That's dope. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, man. And here's probably where a lot of it came from. Shout out to the chat. I'm gonna come to the supers in a second too. I got y'all. Here's where a lot of it probably came from. Drake shares the petition with over 160,000 signatures demanding the release of Tory Lanez Come Home Soon. Right. So here's the post from Drake on his Instagram at Tory Lanez Come Home Soon on his stories. And he puts the link change.org for the petition. Shout out to Drake for that, man. That's so dope. Drake is that powerful. You got to remember that, people. Then was it Montel Jordan that came out recently and said, what did Drake like? Sample one of his songs, something like that, and it pushed his spins or something over a line where he finally, after so many years, recouped with his record label. That was indirectly just from Drake. Drake is always going to be one of the most powerful artists you have ever seen. Always. His following is massive, people. It's massive. It's massive. And I know he's got the whole Kendrick and UMG shit going on, but stuff like this, I don't give a fuck if you're a Drake hater out there. Give credit where credit is due. If he believes that Tory Lanez didn't do this, especially with that recent shit that just happened last week at the press conference coming out with new details, and he puts this up and gets all these signatures for Tory, whether he gets the pardon or not, that's dope. That's dope. Shout out to Drake for that. That's dope that Drake did that, to use his power and his following with a situation like this that he believes in. Pardon Tory Lanez, urge Governor Newsom to correct the deep injustice. And here's all the signatures at time of this post. It's probably more by now. It's probably at 200 by now for all we know. That's dope. All right. So that's the Tory Lanez update. We'll keep an eye out. I had to go here real quick, man. I don't have the power to troll 50, but we need to keep asking the question, okay? Let's check this out together. Make sure I'm on the bigs, the small.
So if you ever called this man right here a rat, 50 Cent, you should be ashamed of yourself because you have no basis. And if you do, please show me, because I've been up and down the federal court docket where Big Meech was accused of moving 500 keys worth $270 million all across the country, along with his brother. They said his brother ran the West Coast, Big Meech ran the East Coast. They hit Big Meech with the kingpin charge. He was facing life. What he pled to, this is very important because this is going to help you understand why this man is not at all a rat. What he pled to was essentially directing an organization of 5 or more individuals in the sale of drugs. And what he was sentenced to was 30 years. Now, what he served was very close to the 30. After he pled, he argued for years with multiple lawyers that he was told that he would only get 20 years and that his lawyers misadvised him and that they should undo the plea. That never worked. Eventually, when he was released after serving a little more than 20 years. Now, why did he serve 20 years on a 30-year bid? Well, because of two criminal justice reform laws passed by our government. First, under the first law, where they reduced the sentences for federal offenders, the lawyers for Meach were able to argue that under the new law, his 30 would have been 27. Then there was another First Step Act passed by, I think that was under the Trump presidency. And when they passed that law and they revised the federal sentencing guidelines, Meach's lawyers went back and they were able to argue that the 27 under the new law was actually 24. He started serving his time in 2005. He got out just recently after serving a little bit more than 20 years. With good time credit, it makes perfect sense that you would serve a little more than 20 years on a 24-year sentence. This man, accused of running one of the most, if not the most, notorious drug enterprises in the world, caught a 30-year sentence based on new laws passed revising the federal sentencing guidelines, had that sentence reduced twice, once to 27, once to 24. And so it makes perfect sense that without any snitching, without any cooperating, he served just over 20 years. Anybody calling him a rat should be sued for defamation. Anybody questioning the integrity of his plea and the time that he served is way, way off base, and they just are completely making it up for clicks. If you ever called this man right here.
Wow. Real quick, let me just spin the block real quick. Shout out to the chat. He's arrested for killing a 14-year-old girl. I believe it was 13, even worse, right? I mean, a child is a child. A person is a person. But I remember it being 13, right? Either way, who he had a relationship with. That's another thing, yeah. This echoed for all women. The fact that he stabbed Tory Lanez in jail. Yeah, you're right, chat. I forgot to mention that detail. Why is he there? He's there serving life. He was like 19, 20, 21 at the time or something like that. And he was dating a 13-year-old that he shot in the face and killed. That's for the women around the world too, huh? Fucking clowns, B. Fucking clowns. You know what? Let me come back to this. Yeah, we might as well I'll double back and just close this out with Tory, and then we'll go to this 50 shit. We out of order for a second, but it's all good. Shout out to KX. Why not? One of our members says, ARP, when you see stories like this, do you think the world is different, or we just are getting a bigger picture of how crazy it really is? So if I had to choose between what you mentioned there, it's the latter, right? What's giving us a bigger picture of how crazy the world really is? The internet and social media. I'm an 80s baby, right? And I did see a lot before there was pagers, before there was beepers, before there was cell phones, before there was America Online, CompuServe, before there was dial-up internet, before we all started figuring out what an email address is. I'm coming through all of this. You know what I'm saying? Before the internet boom, before cell phones gave us free minutes and unlimited text messages. Before all of this technology changed and upped how much we can converse, communicate with each other, show each other. And then you got social media. Social media is one of the biggest things in humanity, in human history. Social media. It's one of the biggest things in human hit, not just our age, not just our era, not just the internet era, human history. Social media. If I scroll my phone right now for 5 seconds, I could see a million things I've never heard about or seen before. Some of us grew up in an era where if you weren't there and you didn't see it, you just didn't have access to it because there's no internet. You can pick up a literal physical copy of the newspaper and maybe read about something, maybe catch a news channel, and see, but right here, boom, 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 and see a million fucking things And now we get more understanding of how ridiculous some things and certain people are. I never in my face watch somebody jump off of a bridge willingly, but I can go search it right now and see 50 instances of it. So the internet can show me how crazy some people are. So when you look at this Meg situation, that there's people in the world that would, number one, sidestep the fact of why this fucking guy is serving life in the first place for what, shooting or killing a 13-year-old girl that he was allegedly with, right? Not just sidestep that, but the fact that your justice was supposed to be the fact that Tory Lanez was found guilty. Your justice doesn't need to be him getting stabbed 14 times and almost killed in jail. You already got your justice, right? So that shows a difference in a person's humane personality. Okay. If you feel that Tory Lanez should die because he allegedly shot your favorite rapper or singer's, pinky toe off, and now sometimes you could kill an ant with a sledgehammer, but it's not that Tory Lanez was found innocent. You believe he's guilty. He's walking around outside in the street, and then he happened to get stabbed 14 times. That's not the scenario. Because then people could say, there goes your karma. It caught up with you. It's not that. He was found guilty. He's got children and a life and a career outside, and he lost it all. And he's sitting in there with killers and artists and all of that type of stuff. And he was almost murdered as an effect of that. The justice, once again, is in the guilty conviction. That's why Megan could proudly walk around right now and she's out here at the Met Gala. She's twerking, moving on with her career and all over social media and got new relationships and around new guys or whatnot. Shout out to her. I don't got no hate for her. You know what I'm saying? As far as her living life, right? Justice was served for her, allegedly, right? So it shows a different type of person, and the internet exposes people's trains of thought. And yes, at times it's fucking disgusting, B. So shout out to you, homie. Appreciate the super. All right, back to 50 real quick. The only reason why I brought that up is we did a long read of Big Meech's paperwork. And if you remember that, it was months ago, right? If you remember that, what did we say after we read it all? We said, now look, that segment where Shorty Tammy, right, was working with the detective knowingly, like literally working in the car, driving around with him. It was also alleged that they had a romantic relationship between them. We saw the moving around of her when they went at her, the government, to say that she's not credible because of the relationship, and she doubled back on some of her prior testimony because she was trying to protect Meech. And it was a lot that we broke down and went through. But it was a gray area. It's enough gray area that if you want to run with it and say, I believe he possibly did this third-party cooperation because you're saying that Meech put these people together through Tammy to do a deal. But that deal was targeted, obviously, because Tammy put it together while Tammy is working with detectives. It's as clear as that. Okay? I don't know how much more I could simplify that. So that's going to give Cuffy, who is in jail right now, a lot of motive to come out there and say, I'm sitting in jail because of Big Meech right now. Or that's what you hear all this third-party cooperation stuff. There's gray area there. But if you read the paperwork and you want to just interpret black and white, what's down on paper, there is no clear cut he told. And people want to lean to the paperwork more than anything for justifications of calling somebody a rat. And it's just not there, black and white. And then you see that lawyer adding details of, why he served 20 of his 30. He didn't get sentenced to 30 and came home in 2 years. Why he served 20 of the 30. So how many streams do we got to say? A fifth. We know he's one of the biggest trolls of all time. He's got a very big platform and he uses it. He goes at a lot of people for it or with it. And that's cool. Sometimes he entertains the shit out of us. We all still fuck with 50 Cent. We do. But when we see things that feel like, yo, to use your platform on some bully shit or some, because what do they say about calling somebody a rat or a snitch? You just don't do it without the full proof. And if he used his platform to pretty much kill this man, almost kill this man's reputation and his legacy because he took a picture with Rick Ross, that's also, I still classify 50 Cent as a street nigga to me. Like that's breaking a lot of codes. That's breaking man codes. That's damn near hater codes that are getting broken. That's street code that's getting broken of calling somebody a rat. There's a lot of codes that's being broken there. And so we can't just say because you 50 Cent, you don't got to follow these codes. That's the thing about consistency and being real. You apply shit to everyone. Okay. You don't say Joe Schmo that works at the car wash, I would never do a freak off with him. But because it's Diddy and because I'm getting these watches and these vacations and these cars and these cribs, let me leave Cassie alone. I'm a chill. But you see the comparison I was creating, right? Yeah, Dawn gets up there tomorrow. We at her. We on her heels. We on her heels tomorrow. But you get my point. So it's just fucked up to do to somebody if you have other motives and it's not true that the person really is a rat because his platform is so. All right, leave that alone. Yeah, I will not give this more than 60 seconds. I refuse to. But they saying top 5 got arrested recently. Top 5 arrested by York Regional Police. I don't even have the charges up here. I couldn't find them. I tried to search them real quick before I cut the stream on. I didn't find anything charges wise. Hope that this isn't old footage then, but yeah, I didn't find any charges. You see this comment right here, Trap Lord Ross did him dirty. So I'm going to try to catch up on that maybe today or by tomorrow. Trap Lord Ross just dropped a video on top 5. And we know Trap Lord Ross is very detailed. He makes excellent content. And I'm interested in this stuff in there about top 5 that we haven't known or put pieces of the puzzle about who he is or what things that he's done or continues to do together. So I'm going to try to check that out. But, you know, this shouldn't shock anybody. The way he acts, the way he carries himself. He came home from beating a murder and he just got to bragging about it and threatening Kendrick and acting like a goon still. He's that type of person. And he's a very cloudy person. You know, you claim to have Drake's back and be Drake's shooter, but you let Kanye put a swastika around your neck and Drake is half Jewish. Good job. I hope I didn't go over 60 seconds. I could really, I can't right there. I just can't, people. I can't. All right. Quick laugh for y'all. I don't know what happened with Joe. His train of thought was off here, and I don't play the pause game, but whatever.
I'm coming anyway.
Yeah, you got to.
I'm a serial glizzy eater. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
No, I'm telling you.
Whoa.
Pause.
Yo. Oh.
Pause.
Whoa. Go.
Pause.
Whoa.
Pause.
Yo, come on.
Pause.
Oh,
Pause.
everything was going smooth.
Hold up.
What
Listen.
is this? Yo.
Hey,
I'm coming anyway.
yeah, you got to.
I'm a serial glizzy eater. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
No, I'm telling you.
Whoa.
Pause. Pause.
Yo. Oh.
Pause.
Whoa. Go.
Pause.
Whoa.
I have no clue what the context was, but I don't know how you get there no matter what the context is. It's just, that was all right. Well, shout out to Joe and Jadakiss, man. Like I said when their first episode dropped, man, very proud to see me as a hip hop head and knowing what those guys deserve and what they've earned. 2 legends, very, very well deserved. The only criticism that I had on the show is that Fat Joe from episode 1, they can continue to build their chemistry, of course. He's a very overpowering voice over Jadakiss, you know. So I think as they continue to pod together, they'll build that synergy and that confidence together, and that'll be dope, man, because it's Joe and Jada, so God knows what type of stories they got for us, just like Cam and Mace. So shout out to that podcast, man. So glad that those 2 guys got together and just giving us content. Did y'all see this real quick? You know, I like to do the a lot of positive, quick success focused things on towards the end of some of our streams, right? Shaq owns 155 Five Guys. My favorite burger in the world is a Five Guys burger. Okay. I know some of y'all want to talk about In and Out and all that. Don't ever mention shit that's slop or it's not even food, real food like McDonald's or fucking Burger King or Wendy's or shit. Five Guys to me got the best burger. All right. From fast food spots. Have I had like restaurant burgers that have been off the chain, expensive ass burgers at certain restaurants and shit? Yes. I'm not putting those on the table. I'm just talking about like fast food spots. I got Five Guys number one. This guy got 155 of them bitches. 7 Auntie Anne's, 150 car washes. He actually did a car wash scene in the movie The Wash, right? Where he pulled up as a dude's sister. I mean, Shorty's big brother and knocked dude out. 40 24-hour fitness centers, 40 of them, a shopping center, a movie theater, and several Las Vegas nightclubs. And mind you, people, this is not his whole portfolio. He's got things like the Marilyn Monroe catalog and whatnot. This is not his full portfolio, people. Like, why is Shaq up there on that show every week? Why is he still working? Because he's a monster with this shit. Because he loves what he does. Because he's a charismatic personality that likes to get up there, engage with people, and give people advice and help people and put on a good show and make people feel good. I have so much respect and appreciation for Shaq. He is somebody that people can look up to as far as, damn, how can I attack this thing called life and aim at success across multiple board games? Multiple. This man is a monster. A fucking monster. Look at this shit. A monster, man. I love it. 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 Shout out to Shaq. Shout out to Shaq, man. Last but not least, oh yeah, this is a pure laugh for y'all. Okay. Yeah, this is a laugh for y'all. Last but not least, my man Tate sent me this.
Dreaming about hey, right now. Hey, who did that? You having a bad dream? You okay? I came in here.
All I heard was pow.
I came in here. You was sweet. You good?
Oh, Mike Tyson hit me, goddamn. Oh, my face hurt.
He said, "Why my face hurt?" Yo, she slapped the shit out of him, dude.
Dreaming about
hey,
right now.
who
Dreaming about bitches. Yo, fellas, do y'all sleep like that? Like if you guys slap that hard, you would wake up like that, like thinking it's a dream? Nah, nigga, you is not skating on that. I'm also that type of drinker as well. Like if I drink socially, you can't interrogate me. You know how some people, they drink and then you can ask them questions and they'll answer in ways that they would never do if they're sober. That's impossible with me. You know, like if I tell you honestly, like, hey, where were you last Saturday? I was with the fellas. A month from now, I'm drunk. Hey, remember that Saturday? Where was you? I'll be like, like I told you, I was with the fellas, even if I'm drunk. You can't interrogate me. It's not gonna happen. Now the whole laughing gas situation, like when people like go through like, let's say, dental surgery and shit, that's a different story. People, I don't think you can really maintain your mental state on that shit. It's a wrap. But you can't. Nah, I'm waking up and I'm knowing I just got slapped. Like that's not a dream. She said, "Dream about bitches." You slapped the shit out of dude, man. All right. Not movies, but DVDs. Just memory lane. Do y'all remember Felony Fights? I remember Felony Fights. So I remember KX earlier dropped a super asking, do I believe that the world has changed, or it's just now people realizing it? There definitely a lot, as I said, about people realizing now, thanks to things like social media and the internet. But did the world change? So much has changed. You won't get these anymore. Remember the time when even the fights on Jerry Springer was real? People was really getting punched in their face on Jerry Springer. Remember Banned from TV, that TV show? I got those VHS tapes over there. Banned from TV. It's like 3 of them. People getting hit by trains, people getting shot, and all this type of stuff. Wild stuff. People getting decapitated. Even before YouTube changed, where you could see beheadings on YouTube. And YouTube had to address that and say, whoa, we losing sponsors. We got to clean this up. We got to clean this up. Right? This era is gone. Society has changed too much. This era is gone. Felony fights. You will fuck around and get some charges for trying to put out content like this. Because these were not sanctioned fights. These people were getting in backyards. They were doing different renditions of fights too. You got one-on-one shit. You got it's all bare knuckle, no rules, no nothing. You got 2-on-1s that they did. They started to expand. They made it crazy. 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, brawl for it alls, weapon-based fights. This person gets a stick. This person gets nunchucks. Right? Unsanctioned, just people that want to do wild shit on DVD. You do some shit like this right now, the media is going to focus on you, the internet's going to focus on you, and you'll fuck around, land yourself in jail in a day and a half. Yeah, that's crazy. Y'all remember felony fights? This memory lane quick one for y'all. Sometimes I'll do movies, sometimes I'll do documentaries, sometimes I'll do whatever. But music wise, the reason why I wanted to do this real quick, you got this one is Razzcast, the re-up, right? And this one is Razzcast Assassination, right? There's another one that I have. Is it the Golden Child? Razzcast 3, you all right? Keep up. I know you're not even in the same race as me, but for the sake of the argument, keep up. All right. But the reason why I want to bring these up, I take shots at 3 every fucking day, right? And I continue to prove the differences between us. But I brought these up because Razzcast is a guy that could have been maintaining a legacy of one of the best pens and one of the best rappers of all time. It's like when we talk about West Coast artists, West Coast people do it. But everybody else outside of the West Coast, I don't hear people do it a lot. If you say, yo, name me some pure lyricists from the West Coast, you're going to hear people like Crooked Eye. You should hear people like Game. Game is a rapping ass nigga. You're going to hear the Kendrick Lamars and people like that. Razzcast, he doesn't get mentioned enough. He was one of the most talented rappers, not even just West Coast, just overall. But I feel like his career was kind of derailed after he was allegedly, should I say allegedly, knocked out by the Game. Y'all remember that? Remember Game did a interview. It was on a DVD. He was standing by a pool table, and he tried to deliver it so calmly. Like, what happened with Razzcast? He said something, and I slid him. That's it. Knocked him out. He slid across the floor. That was it. That's it. Boop, boop. Gone. He went out. He sleep cold. Razzcast did a video with a bunch of people around him that look weird as fuck, if y'all remember. He had glasses on. He took off his glasses. He showed his black eye. One guy was next to him holding a bunch of bullets. Like, oh, Game, what's up for you and all that. And then it started being reports that Razzcast was gay and all this type of stuff, allegedly. I don't know. It's just like after that point, it was just all downhill. And then we just stopped hearing from him, and his legacy was just so tarnished. You know, even if he wasn't going to continue to put out music or albums or whatever, his name would have still at least continued to know, like, always mention Razzcast, but I just never hear his name. Me saying his name right now is the first time I'm hearing Razzcast get said in maybe at least 7-8 years. You just don't hear this man's name. So West Coasters in the chat, because this won't get uploaded as a clip. This will be stream only, this piece. West Coasters, man, let me know why you feel Razzcast doesn't get discussed from a legacy standpoint in hip hop all the way up until today. Let me know. What's your thoughts on that? I can't count. I have boxes of even Slim Jewel cases, CDs from like the mixtape era, as well as all. I'm talking about boxes of CDs that I even have in storage, right? Ones that I have to go through and say, I don't need these to be out and on display and grabbable. boxes and boxes of CDs in storage. What I have out, a lot of people can't touch. What I could go walk over to right now and be back on camera in 10 seconds, a lot of people can't touch. Like if you say an album right now, hey, do you got Nas Illmatic? I could go grab it 5 seconds and be right back on camera. So what I leave out, my collection alone is massive. And that's albums, that's mixtapes, that's LPs, that's EPs, I leave a lot of my DVD collection out too. Because I was a collector back then and I was about my music. I used to tear Canal Street up. I used to tear Broadway up, Water Street. These are some of the downtown Manhattan areas that, you can go and get your DVDs and your music and your mixtapes. Once upon a time, I worked at Musicland in the mall. I had a job at Musicland. This was back when there was record stores, people. Remember you had your Sam Goodies and shit? I worked at Musicland, so I was young and, I get my paycheck. And that's just how it is when you work in a store that has shit that you want. You end up giving the store back your paycheck. Like, so a lot of my albums came from buying them while I worked at Musicland. But my mixtape days, every day I was outside. Yo, you got the new Drama King? Yo, you got the new DJ Clue? You got the new Envy? You got the new this? You got the new that? DVD era came and I was the same way. All those different DVDs I was the same way. To this day, I still cop shit. Like I bought, if you walk into Target, they have a couple things. Like I bought the Kendrick Lamar vinyl and I put it up in my gym. I also bought his album just to add it to my collection. Another one that I bought was just like, I gotta have that physical copy, even though CDs don't really sell like that no more. I remember when Jay-Z 444 came out. I got it over there and I never even took it out the wrapper. You know what I'm saying? I just left it in the seal and everything. But that's how I've always been with my music. That's how I've always been. So I really don't have a count, Jay. It's too much. It really is too much. And people had a nerve to put 3 in a conversation with me. It's disgusting. It makes no sense. But all right. We made it over 2 hours today. Fun stream, people. I'm gonna start clipping out the big topics from this and get them uploaded for rewatch or for anybody that's missed the stream. Once again, people, let me try to, as the podcast evolves and the dust starts to settle, I want to make sure I put those updates out there, because if you're on the stream now at this point, you probably are a person that watches lives just as much, if not more, than the clips, right? So Monday through Friday, you will continue to get your clips of each topic dropping on the channel, starting from early morning all the way through the evening, all right? Depending on how much I break down. The full episodes, Monday through Friday, will drop on the channel as well. They just may not drop in the morning, okay? Randomly, some of the full episodes might be members only. Maybe some of the shorter ones, or I might pick a day. Maybe like, let's say Monday and Tuesday's full episode might be members only. What are you missing? The full episodes that are not in the clips? Stuff like this right now. Stuff like this when we talk about CDs and DVDs, not top. You're never gonna have to be a member to miss out or to catch like us breaking down the Tory Lanez situation. Never. I won't do that to y'all. Right? That'll come out on a clip, worst case scenario. But there's a lot of transitional stuff, and maybe every once in a while I want to do an exclusive that's stream only. And if that's a particular full stream or full episode that is members only, yeah, I got to give some exclusives to the members. They got to get some of their content that the world doesn't have. That's just the name of the game. I got to take care of them. But it won't be every episode during the week will be members only. Quarter Lab, I had a conversation with them. They made me scale that back. They was just like, nah, that's too much. Fuck with the members. That's too much, though. I was like, all right, cool. I got you. Weekends, though, will always be alive like this. Saturday and Sunday mornings will always be alive where we can chill out, do a stream like always. But, I could catch up with everything and be here with the full chat. There will also be lives randomly during the week. If we do a full episode in the morning and clips starting to drop, and I have to come back for some breaking type news. If I record my full episode on a Tuesday morning and then the clips start to drop and then the full episode drops as well, if I go live on that same day, it's because, oh shit, Diddy found guilty. You know what I'm saying? Breaking news type of shit, maybe. So, yeah, just as you guys stay subscribed, keep your notifications on, keep in tune with the channel, all the content that's dropping 7 days a week, you will get familiar with the pattern that we're falling into. So I'm just trying to make sure I take care of everybody, the people that want their clips, the people that like their live streams, the people that like their full episodes, and the members. I'm trying to take care of all those categories. And it's not easy. Some people might be a little, I don't like this, or I do like this, but I can't do everything perfectly on 10 if I'm going to cater to all those different categories. So this is what I came up with. And I got some advice also from Quarter Lab. So we're going to run with this for a few, and I might make a little tweak here and there, but for the most part, either way, 7 days a week, a ton of content, and I got y'all. All right. So y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Oh, big game today. Thunder and the Nuggets, game 7, right? Oh shit. Yeah, y'all enjoy that. All right, I'll see y'all in the morning. We'll be back.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.